Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What's up, Shoes?
This is a pretty basic one, but someone posted this on Reddit, and I saw it, and I was like, I have to ask Kaz. So shout out to Professional Big 6792 on user on Reddit, and I think this was meant very, very seriously. Could you take Jade Cargill in a wrestling fight/match, a wrestling match/fight?
Like a shoot fight?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna answer.
What?
There's no answer here with a proper off ramp. Okay,
I think the appropriate answer is no. I mean, I think no one's gonna get on you for no.
Well, yeah, like clearly, like no, like I'm
Brian H. Waters. Could you beat Jade Cargill in a fight?
No.
If she was a zombie, if this was like a movie and she was out to kill you and your family,
am I in? What situation am I in?
She's trying to hurt your family, and you have to stop her.
I mean, anything for my family.
I was about to say, like, I'm beating Jade's ass.
I'm not saying this is the craziest thing. I know that no one wants to punch a lady, okay?
Dave, we're on YouTube. They will screen grab this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The amount of screen grabs of stuff I know I didn't clip that came out this past weekend.
Telling you, bro.
They will screen grab this. We're not crazy.
Oh, yeah,
it's true.
Dave,
it's true.
Two black guys said they'll
life
beat a
is
black
a different
woman.
life. All right, let me change the question. Name one male wrestler on the WrestleMania card who you think you could beat up.
Oh, clearly, I was gonna say Speed, but like he is pretty athletic. I don't know. He might have he has a motor. Like, I mean, like,
and probably no concept of the damage he could do. You know, like at least some of these trained fighters might go a little easy on you. He might just murder you. I don't know.
That's true. My gosh. I mean, he's not technically on the card, right? Like Jelly Roll's on the card. Like I could beat the shit out of Jelly Roll, clearly, but like I don't know if he's technically part of the match. Golly.
You think you could take Danhausen?
Yeah, I could beat the shit out of Danhausen for sure. For sure. No disrespect to him. He's probably tough as nails. Like, here's the thing. You could beat a wrestler in a fight with people watching you, right? Like, you can, like, if people are watching and they're like, oh yeah, like Kaz definitely got more hits off. But I just feel like wrestlers have a level of threshold of pain that, like, eventually I'll get tired. And like they have that level of pain threshold that probably I'm just not used to. And you know, like the first time they see their own blood, they're just gonna keep on going. The first time I see my own blood, I might do one of these. Like, oh man, what the you know, like there's just different levels that I just haven't experienced. So I'll give them that. But if we talk about, I watched Kaz and Danhausen square up and Kaz beat the shit out of him, but Danhausen ain't quit though. He kept getting back up.
But Danhausen ain't quit though. It's like that's one of his new T-shirts. Also, you'd probably be cursed. You'd be immediately cursed. So I don't know how you would win that.
And
just
that
for the record,
who wants to be cursed?
He got to start with his hands first, so he can't curse him. So he can't do none of that. Kaz got to start with his hands first.
Just go right
breaking
after
his wrist off rip. I'm like, yo. Like, give me that. So you don't need
okay,
that.
well, at least we got our game plan. Can't wait for WrestleMania week, guys. And I hope if you guys run into each other, I'll be there with the camera. Anyway, let's start the show.
Or curses.
Masked Man Show. Masked Man Show. Masked Man Show. Masked Man Show.
Welcome to the Masked Man Show with Kaz. We got 2 interviews tacked onto this show, guys. We've got Paul Walter Hauser, the greatest actor / wrestler maybe ever, and the greatest trainer / wrestler of the modern era. I'm going out on a limb there. The living legend, Shawn Michaels. So stick around for those. But we also have AEW Dynasty to talk about. We got some more WrestleMania stuff to talk about. It's going to get wild in here. Before any of that, though, Kaz, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Shoes. How about yourself, my man?
I'm doing okay.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I had a lot of energy
good.
last night during the AEW show. All the people in the Only Graps group chat were talking about how tired they were, and I was just like, dude, I'm just getting my second win. This is great, but now I'm pretty tired. It was a great show. What do you think about the big ending? We're going to have to run through every match, obviously, but like, I think I was shocked by MJF retaining in a good way or whatever, not in a loaded way at all. But I think I was, by the time that match got into its last act, and to be honest, by the last act felt like an MJF win because of all the shenanigans that were going on and whatever else. But like, I was so shocked by that win, man. I really didn't think, I don't think I realized how much I internalized that I believed Kenny Omega was winning. What was your feeling?
I mean, I kind of went into this match thinking MJF was going to win. And, Kenny Omega is somebody who never really needs the championship, especially when the world champion is doing as well as MJF is. That last sequence, however, at some point you got to stop making your champ look that much of a wuss. You know what I mean? Like, you need some sort of, he just got the better of you. You know what I mean? Like, moments for MJF's reign. And I think that, as far as MJF's character, I think that fits, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's as close as to a clean, decisive victory you can give a guy with a character like MJF over a guy who's as established and, I call him AEW's Roman Reigns as Kenny Omega is. You know what I mean? So, good on MJF, because I don't think they should take the title off him anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of, if you're talking about people who are supposed to build the company up and have the combination of youth and experience and return on investment that MJF has, I don't think it's really close as far as like anybody else who you would want as your champion right now. So I'm not as shocked as you were. I'm shocked that you thought Kenny was going to win that.
I thought he was going to win. I don't even know what my pick was last week. But I went into the night thinking, I felt like he was going to win. More than anything because, on the one hand, when you have a guy like MJF, you're like, who's doing really well as champion, ratings seem to be up, like attention, people seem to be paying attention. Like, yeah, you would leave the championship on them, and you would, maybe feed him people like Kenny Omega, like the established legends, to really kind of establish his legitimacy despite the cheating and whatever else. But the flip side of that, in terms of just like basic wrestling storytelling, is you can really only play this I've got one more run in me card with Omega so many times. I mean, truthfully, you could do it every week for the rest of his life, right? But in terms of when it really being effective, it felt like they were taking it seriously. I said it to Tony Khan last week. By the way, if you didn't hear or see our Tony Khan interview, check out our YouTube page or Spotify. Putting Kenny in a suit last week made it seem like a big freaking deal. Like it made it feel legit. And frankly, Tony Khan, AEW seem to do a lot more like event-based booking for the titles and stuff like that. Like, he might have some specific reason that he thinks Kenny Omega should walk into Wembley with the belt, right? And that's all that it takes. It seems. Like putting the tag team titles in there with Cope and Cage, in that feud or whatever, just getting it closer to the big thing. And I thought that maybe there was something to play there. Like, you mentioned a final Omega Ospreay showdown in Wembley or something like that. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then just through the course of the match, the way they were talking about it, you know what it was? MJF's entrance is what really put me over. It felt, one, a little bit too big for the event. They both had big entrances, and I know this is a thing that AEW really embraces, but MJF's in particular, that felt like a WrestleMania entrance that you had to squeeze into Elimination Chamber because you found out you were going to lose, right? You know what I mean? And he also seemed to really be soaking it in on this walk down the aisle. I don't know. I'm doing all the talking when they were talking about the match. It was an absolutely stupendous match. And maybe the best part was the announce team, Excalibur and Shivani and Danielson, litigating is Max actually a good, low-key a great wrestler, like on the mic, as we were watching the match, the same conversation we always have. No, actually I take that back. The best the best part was like the dagger, the last, pretty much the last announce note of the last of the post win was Tony Schiavone saying, "A cowardly act from a horrible human being." Talking about MJF. He was really down on MJF's morality by the end. But anyway, I loved the match. The fact that I was wrong is credence to the match. Like, it was a fantastic match that had me totally convinced that I was about to watch this epic comeback, return to form of Kenny Omega. And we did get an epic return to form. But, things didn't shake out quite right for Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny's definitely Lightning McQueen right now in cars, bro. It's like he always has a moment where it's like, oh man, one winged angel off the top rope. Old man still got it. Or, he hits one of them V triggers that are just sickening to hear.
That you can hear like 5 miles away. Yeah, it's like a gunshot. Like,
oh yeah, that's the guy. That's the dude that I would stay up till like 4 a.m. to watch in Japan. Like, you still see little glimpses here and there, but like, like when he's up against Jackson Storm, bro, like he just doesn't have enough of that giddy up like he used to. Like, he has those moments where he looks like that dude that was in New Japan and even for the early part of AEW. But his style is so sudden and impactful. When it loses a step, it's decidedly noticeable. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's not to say Kenny Omega is still not great to watch and great to enjoy, because he can still do all the hits. But when it's a main event world title match, it's almost like you're watching it. Well, at least I was watching it thinking like, it would almost be malpractice to make this guy world champion again. Look at what he has to do to get himself up to be close to the level that he was when he was the undisputed, like, best bout machine, like just best bell-to-bell wrestler.
Oh, wait, go into that. What do you mean what he has to do to get himself up?
I mean, you said last week, well, he put on the suit. Oh, he put on the suit. That means he's really taking it serious. Oh, he gave homage to Kota Ibushi. Oh, he's really got to take it up a notch. Like, it's really serious this time.
Oh, the signals, yeah.
He's just doing the things that's trying to trick you into thinking he's still that dude that he was about.
But you don't think he's still that dude?
No. And that's not to say that he's not still great. But when you're talking about Kenny Omega 8 years ago, when he was like...
Well, I thought one of the really interesting choices by Danielson and the rest of the guys in the announce team was to say repeatedly that this is him for the first time back in the peak Omega form. Because
they're trying to sell it, for sure. But...
No. Yes, I understand it.
Did you think that?
No. But I just from an announcing perspective, I think I would have rather played it like we're not exactly sure what we're getting. Yes, there have been flashes of peak Kenny Omega, but does he have enough to put it together in a 30-minute stretch tonight? I would have rather let the crowd be pleasantly surprised by what they got than by telling them this is what you're watching is the greatest wrestler wrestling ever, right? But I do agree there's he was a step or two behind. Behind his peak, but no, during the bulk of the match,
well, I think what I was trying to explain, Dave, is that like just because he's a step or two behind, it doesn't have to be the whole story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you don't have to like try and make me believe like, oh man, he's just as good as he was.
Well, I mean, they did the whole thing where he was like they kept referencing the diverticulitis, and then Omega's like, I really wish we didn't have to talk about this all the time. But it's like it's not. Right. That was kind of your choice, dude. It's and by saying I don't want to talk about it, you're just drawing more attention to it at this point. But yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think what'll be interesting is to see what they do with Kenny from here. If the next chapter is connected to this chapter, if they really put in the time and effort, to have Kenny like learn a lesson from this, then it could really be. Then I'm totally cool with that. I think it could be really, really meaningful. Partly the question is just how do you tell that story? Because putting Kenny alone on camera is not the answer. But, having him in workout videos is probably not the answer. This is not like a Rocky training montage. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. I will say this: even if there was ever a thought about putting the belt on Kenny Omega, and I assume when Kenny is in a match, you think about it. They made the right choice by leaving the belt on MJF for a number of reasons. But like I said, with the way AEW sometimes make decisions, are not the decision-making criteria I'm always paying attention to. I think that this was a brave choice and the right choice, absolutely, to leave the belt on MJF because, well, we can see like AEW more so than WWE is just a vibes-based company. And when you're in there asking Tony Khan about the uptick, like this, like AEW feels like it's in a better place than it was at whatever point in the past. It's usually something as simple as like MJF's on top and like everybody's just feeling good, and like the one thing clicks and then everything clicks and then the whole thing feels super vital. And I'm excited to see where they can go from here with MJF.
Yeah. I mean, they've hit all the right notes with MJF since he returned. You know what I mean? And I think there was definitely a little trepidation of possibly to put the title on him too quickly when he returned, but the months after is only proven like his worth. Despite all the BS, like you said, that MJF kind of does throughout matches and even leading up to matches, he's never not delivered. He's never not had a match that made you come out and saying like that guy could wrestle his ass off. Like he is really good. So I enjoyed the match, man, and I enjoy most MJF matches. And I wouldn't take the title off him anytime soon. I don't know if we're getting ready for. I would have said Ospreay versus MJF at Wembley is the move, but he just got nerfed by Mox last night again, and maybe that's part of the story, but I don't know.
It's such a weird balance too, because this is just like AEW kind of reteaching us how to watch wrestling. I was surprised that Mox won, certainly in the way he did. I was a little bit like, I think, subconsciously ready for whatever the Ospreay thing was next without thinking too deeply about this one. And then Mox wins and you're just like, oh yeah, this is they're gonna stay doing this for a minute. Right? And we're gonna keep with Mox and Ospreay for a while, for a couple of pay-per-views here. And that should be something I'm super excited about. But again, not what I was expecting. So it was a little bit back and forth. I really enjoyed that match, man. Mox versus Ospreay, I thought was so good.
I gotta ask you, Dave. Were you a big fan of the paradigm shift, no sell into the hidden blade? I fell asleep during the middle of the show. Woke back. Were
people mad about this? Are people going to get mad about this every time?
Oh yeah, that was the spot that I saw a lot of people commenting on, and just everybody had a take. Dave, what was yours?
I have a really hard time with this. Like, listen, this is sort of like where we say that like someone got jobbed out or whatever, and it wasn't, but like that has a really specific meaning, and just having like LA Knight lose on an episode of Raw when with interference from the Vision does not mean he got jobbed, right. Like whatever. To me, everybody can have their own definition. No selling. I mean, the not selling, I think to me is a really specific definition, which is just like to not know how to be a wrestler well enough to express the injury that you're kayfabe going through, right? If somebody fake punches you, you got to bounce backwards. And if you just sort of do it like halfway and nobody can really tell, then you've failed at selling, right? But if you're making the conscious effort to take a hit and then act like it doesn't hurt you and then attack and then collapse, I feel like that's totally within the fair bounds of drama. Now, if you do it over and over again to the point that it's not interesting, that's a dramatic failure. That's a storytelling failure. But in terms of just like a mechanics of pro wrestling argument, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to get offended by that. That's cool. That's exactly what, I mean, fiction has been telling us these stories forever. It doesn't, sometimes it's you. I mean, what was the old, you remember, I don't know why I just thought about this. Remember National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where the family shows up and the girl's not cross-eyed anymore, and the guy's just like, yeah, she got kicked by a mule once, went cross-eyed, got kicked again, went back to normal. Who'd have thunk it? It's like no one's just standing up on their couch saying, if she got kicked in the head by a mule, she'd be dead. Like it's part of the show. Yeah, so I'm not. Were you mad about it? Tell me, please. No, please tell me this is not what we're going to argue about in Las Vegas.
I've said this many times. Any Will Ospreay. The reason why I love Will Ospreay matches so much is because I know to turn my brain off when he's about to come out. Like if it's a pay-per-view match and he's coming out, it's like he's already sort of established this about his characters that like there's going to be some moments that's going to make you go, really? What the fuck?
Do you ever, can I ask you a question? I don't even know if it's turned your brain off.
Right.
Do you ever go down the rabbit holes of watching old boxing clips on social media? Like I get those in my I get those in my algorithm all the time where it's just like one day a week I'm just watching like 40 boxing fights.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I watch boxing, it's not really the same with MMA because there's no standing 10 count or whatever, but like the more I watch boxing, the more I'm convinced that the most important skill for any boxer to have is the ability to stand up and act unconcussed when you're concussed or unknocked out when you're knocked out. You know what I mean? Like even the crazy matches where guys come back after getting nearly KO'd to win, the moment where they stand up and the referee's doing the count, like that, you can almost always tell that dude's not there. There's no way, you know? But the skill, whatever that is, that fight or flight, being on the fight mode of like your legs go dead and the first thing you do is stand back up. It's like without even getting your head together. I really feel like that skill is super important in a boxer, which is all to say, that's sort of what Will Ospreay's character has in wrestling, right? It's like, you hit me with everything you got. That's exactly the moment I'm not going to go down, right? I'm just going to pop up and I'm not here. I don't have my shit together. But I know, but like my body has somehow taught itself that at the worst possible moment, you get up and you do a hidden blade. You know,
I want to be clear. Anybody who had an issue with that, it shouldn't be the fault of the real fighting brain. It's the fault of the wrestling thinking brain that thinks, oh, you got hit with the paradigm shift. You're supposed to go down. Yeah, that's why people are upset. It's like you got hit with a finisher / signature move.
Yeah, it's protected.
You're supposed to go down. You think in a real fight, you wind your arm up 3 times and then you punch somebody in the jaw, and it's like that's my signature move. You're supposed to go down. It might be a signature move, but if I know it's coming and I braced myself for it, I'm going to say exactly what Shoemaker said. This is the exact moment I'm not getting knocked the fuck out.
unless now we can talk about going down like street fight rabbit holes on social media too. There's always like, not always, but there's
raised on Kimbo Slice fights on the internet.
Oh yeah. No, but like when you just see videos of like just dudes fighting, like we have to settle the score. There's always people off camera who are sort of like off camera refereeing. You know, there's someone who's just like, get off the ground. Come on. You know the rules, you know, and you're just like, wait, there are rules here? If those people did work together to enforce finishing moves, maybe a real fight that could happen. You know, if you like got hit and you're getting back up and somebody else there just like, no, Kaz, that was the atomic elbow. You got to stay down. You know, that would be good. But I agree.
The old dusty elbow, son. He's supposed to sell, you idiots. It's like, nah, man. I don't.
We're getting into these sticky areas where like these are the conversations that the carnies were having at the beginning of pro wrestling. How do we make it work?
We're the beginning of pro wrestling for somebody out there, Dave. There's someone out there who listens to the show all the time.
Oh, dude. Speaking of the beginning of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I forgot. Guess what? I'm going to change the subject. Guess what happened? I came back to the house the other day and there was a giant box waiting for me.
Uh-oh.
And I assumed I bought some stuff off Amazon. I was like, I can't believe they put all that shit in one box. Like, you know, I was just like, so because it was a big box, it was like, this is the box you get your like, when you buy your toilet paper in bulk in, you know, like a big box.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, that's weird. And so I went to open it and my wife was there and my 7-year-old was there. And I didn't even look at the tag. I just ripped into it, actually half expecting it to be something for my wife with the wrong label or whatever, you know? And all of a sudden I look in and I'm just like, oh my God. I was like, Aubrey, get my 7-year-old. My wife's like, you guys got to come back in. You got to come back in. I let Aubrey open the rest. It was a care package from Mattel.
Wow.
Which I've never received before. I actually met some of the Mattel guys and had a great talk with them backstage before WrestleMania last year.
Nice.
And then they the people that I talked to switched their roles or whatever, but we were talking about, because that's when I found out they were remaking the LJNs was a year ago. I kept that under my hat. You're welcome. And then But then also
safe for us shoes.
But then also they're relaunching He-Man, which is like my other passion from childhood or whatever. And so this box arrives with like all of these new LJNs and He-Man figures. And my 7-year-old's just like now the biggest He-Man fan in the world, having never watched it on television. And now he gets to discover new wrestlers. Right. So now there's like a whole new, he has a bunch of old LJNs that were like mine that we, picked, and also ones that we just picked up at flea markets over the years or whatever. But now he's got a whole bunch of these new ones. So we got the Stone Cold Steve Austin LJN. We're good. I don't even know why I was telling that story. You're talking about making new fans. So yeah, thanks to Mattel.
Yeah, shout out to Mattel, man. You got to plug the plug as always.
I might not get any cool streetwear hats like my partner here, but occasionally I get wrestling toys.
You know, just for saying that, I got to throw. Let's see what I got on here. Yeah.
What do you got? Who are you plugging today?
Shout out my guy 22-2. My guy Gary makes all these dope hats. You ever see Mello wearing these half Yankee, half Met hats that he makes? Mm-hmm. That's who does them. He's the man. He's
Dude, awesome. If you know anybody that wants to give me some free black baseball caps or any color, really, I'll wear it.
Dog. I got plenty. I want
you to bring an extra, man. Bring an extra carry-on with just black caps for me.
I shall, David. I absolutely shall. Liv Morgan just dropped a music video. Do you see this?
No. We were supposed to watch... Bro, wait. We were supposed to watch... we talked about watching... What's it called? Is it a real video? Like it has video on it? Is it?
I've seen glimpses, and it looks like a real product. So I'll tell you, when we were at the Garden last week, they were finishing up like the filming of that video backstage. So this is pretty recent. Like what? I didn't see it. I didn't see the whole thing.
I was talking to Brian, like asking if we could watch the McAfee promo from this week and just live, just like comment on it. But should we just do Liv Morgan instead?
I guess so, because I haven't seen or heard this. I just saw them like finishing it backstage, and I was just like, huh. And somebody was like,
we'll get back to your regularly scheduled Dynasty results, but yes, this has come up now. We got to do it. Brian, is there any way you can?
Yeah, for the love of YouTube. So if you only came here for our AEW Dynasty, annual show.
Oh no, this will work great for video. Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna look down at this thing. Is this it? Is this these feet or what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask before? Do you know? Is this serious?
I have no idea. I haven't heard or saw any of it. I just knew that's what they were doing. This is a window into your soul. Is your assumption that this is that she's being serious about this, or that it's a joke? I am willing to assume that she's taking this seriously. I think this is,
I'm not saying one's right. I'm just like, I do not know how to come to a Liv Morgan music video. I don't know what the assumption is.
We're all about to find out together, Shoes.
Brian? Your assumption is that it's real too?
Yeah.
I don't know how I totally missed this. Okay. This is it. This is crazy, guys. This is a first. So Masked Man Show first. We're all going to watch.
My music. I got to be honest if this is good or bad or not. I have a reputation to uphold.
This is a Hot 97 DJ up here. All right.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely what?
Trouble.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was going to be your theme song.
That's what I thought.
Is that Raquel?
Raquel in there.
Okay.
Too. All right. She does resemble Sabrina Carpenter in this right now. Wait, should we sing as more of it's like just sexy talk?
This is like Bret Hart. This is Bret Hart singing or Shawn Michaels singing "Sexy Boy."
Is this gonna be her new entrance?
I was gonna ask that same question.
Yeah, I guess.
I literally am so perplexed by this.
I mean,
is the sound kind of weak, or is that just the way I'm listening to it?
I'm I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to the YouTube speakers as far as like the bass is concerned. But I gotta be honest,
I hear a lot of Liv Morgan and not a lot of instruments.
I gotta be honest. This is well shot and well done. Like this definitely.
No, this is a real song.
Yeah, like if you.
This is some real like Britney Spears like choreography
TRL, here. Yeah, it's definitely got like Christina Aguilera coded. You know what I mean? She can't sing like Christina Aguilera, like not even a little bit. But the video itself is very much. Oh wow, okay, yeah, there's a lot happening here.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be good content. I'm just perplexed by this. Is she actually going to do a Hurricane Run on this guy?
Is always good content.
No, I don't know. We'll leave it up. I just don't. You couldn't get like a.
I mean, it's giving horny, yo. I gotta be honest.
Yep.
It's giving real horny. Horny and violent. Yeah, horny and violent is what I'd categorize this.
You remember before WrestleMania?
What was that?
I have no idea what that was. You know, yep. I'll say this. Not the type of song I would play, but I know its audience. I know who it was geared towards. Like I know who would be into that.
No, I'm not. I don't think it's bad. I'm just sort of shocked. I'm just sort of surprised. I feel like that's what I would have guessed for Liv Morgan and like as like a joke. You know, it's just like, oh, she probably loves exactly that music or for herself. But
I had not even an inkling that, you know, that music was what was about to be done with her career. Like what she was after. Like I thought like movies and stuff was like the layup. You know what I mean? So like, is she signed to? Does she have a record deal? Like, what is this? Like, is this?
My guess is no, but we'll see. But she very well could. I mean, listen, if that's what she wants to do, dude, you don't put anything past her.
I mean, listen, I gotta be honest. Like, it's yeah, like she looks like Sabrina Carpenter, and the video gives horny and violent.
Yeah.
But yeah, first song. I mean, I've definitely heard worse. I've definitely heard better. I've definitely heard better. Like 1,000% I've heard better. Like,
you've heard a better
vocally.
first ever song? Yes, sure.
No, I mean just vocally, just like, you know, she's just, you know.
That doesn't matter. If you think her vocal was bad, that just means the producer didn't do his job.
There you go. And who gives a shit, right? It's like, it's not like it's your first job. It's a little.
Oh,
you
she
know,
sounded good, dude.
On the side. You know what I mean? You know what?
That was sort of a shock, though. I was not expecting like an earnest music video from Liv Morgan.
I low-key thought this was going to be like a Stephanie Vicaire diss record.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Going to just be like, oh shit.
I think the real question
honest
is
to goodness attempt at like, you know, pop music.
Would it have been better if Jim Johnston had written it?
How do you know he didn't write it?
I'm only joking. You know how much I hate Jim Johnston deification stuff. But go ahead,
man. Gosh, David.
I love those songs too. But all those people that are home going like, man, I wish Jim Johnston were still writing songs. It's like, well, you could just play his old songs. They didn't change.
That's true.
He had like 2 tempos and 5 chords. You know, like it wasn't. AI could do that for you, man.
I just wondered, is this going to be her theme music? Like, you know, sometimes before, like last year, right? Naomi had new music, that she debuted at WrestleMania. I'm never a fan of debuting new music at WrestleMania. Is this like a warm up, and then this end up being her music? You know, and I think back to WrestleMania.
It started off with like the signature tag that she comes out with. So it wouldn't shock me if this is a new joint. And I'll say this. Grading it on a scale of real artist and professional wrestler, on the real artist scale, it's probably like a 5, 6, maybe.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Okay.
On the wrestler scale, 10. I'm always pro sing your own theme song.
Compare it to Be a Man by Macho Man Randy Savage.
Listen, you gotta if you want to step into that super duper star status, singing your own theme song is a big way to go. You either got to sing your own theme song, or I gotta believe that you sing your own theme song like the Big Show. All right, like that music hits, and I gotta just see you
Your
Sing the
assumption.
song.
Did you assume that every foreign wrestler was singing their theme song? Because
Yeah.
as a kid,
like when Muhammad Hassan would come out, I'm not doing that.
It's done. What's done is done. Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, I guess Nikolai did sing his own theme song. God, what a great gimmick that was.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, well, I think that was really good. I think it was really good. We just gotta, you know what we should do? Let's make a concerted effort. Let's request that song at everywhere we go in Las Vegas.
I feel like we're gonna hear it everywhere we go in Las Vegas.
Yeah, probably. So. And it'll probably sound great. I really feel like this was a bad record. Like I just heard, like I couldn't hear the audio.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the YouTube speakers for not like
that could have been the share because I heard good the music. Yeah,
I was just hearing her. Okay, well, it's probably a lot better than I know. Like sometimes you watch a match without the audio and you don't really know what you're watching.
Good for Liv Morgan though, man. That's not easy to do. That's not just not easy to do, but like to have the nerve to do that. If you feel like singing and dancing and putting some tunes together and
Liv Morgan is seriously one of the that's not easy to do all-stars in pro wrestling.
Right.
I swear to God, every time that she's on screen, if you just shake your head a little bit and realize this is a regular person you're watching, you're just used to it being Liv Morgan, this like larger than life character. Like all of her reactions, all of her, frankly, outfits, all of her physicality, it's like everything she does is like over the top in the best way, you know? And she's just like, I don't even know how you like, I mean, I really think she's like the best in the world at almost everything she does. She's so good.
Damn, that's high praise, Dave. High praise.
Including singing. Unlike you did, you haters out there. No, and I'm very, very excited. Yeah, I'm very, by the way, we did the hype draft last week. I think we did that. This match lasted till the end, but this and the two women's title matches are basically a tie for me about how excited I am because I frankly don't know exactly what I'm going to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the Rhea Ripley Jade Cargill match was 45 seconds long or 25 minutes long, I would not be surprised. You know, like I just don't know what we're about to get. And it's sort of similar. I think we're going to get something a little bit more conventional with Liv and Vaquer, but I feel like I'm just going to learn a lot. The way that Stephanie Vaquer has been booked since she's been on the main roster has been a little bit uncertain, and Liv Morgan is like, I'm not sure if she's just like an MJF level, like in-ring talent where she just really shows up every time that it matters. I'm just thinking we're all gonna learn a lot from that match and where they're gonna go more than anything else. With both the women's title matches, it feels like a title change is sort of a reset for the division, you know. So it'll be interesting to watch. Anyway,
yeah.
Dynasty.
I love me some Jade and Rhea. Love them both, but especially after the noggin knock between Roxanne and Liv last week, I think Stephanie and Liv's match definitely raising on the hype meter as far as the two women's title matches.
Yeah, it's true.
For sure.
Speaking of women's title matches, Tekla retained hers. You like that at Dynasty? I mean, listen, we heard Tony Khan talk about how great she was last week. We'll talk about how great she is. I do think Jamie Hayter is in some sense like the perfect opponent for her. They had really good chemistry. I really enjoyed the match. Just hard to get super invested in Jamie Hayter because she like just started a tag team elsewhere, you know, and is like seems to be doing other stuff. And they have some backstory and everything else, but this wasn't a huge shock like some of the other ones, at least for me. But man, I just love Tekla. She's just great. I wish she could wrestle Jamie Hayter like every month. She doesn't have a major championship match, but you know, I thought it was really good. And then Kevin Knight, your guy,
my guy,
won the AEW
TNT
championship after in the Casino Gauntlet match, which was a whole lot of fun. Did they project this? I don't know. I watched this out of order, so so I knew he won by the time that I watched the match. It felt a little bit like the announcers were building the story for him in a very obvious way through the course of the match. but maybe I was just being overly sensitive to it. It was a fantastic match. And kind of mad we didn't see this coming. It's like as soon as Jet Speed, Mystico lost their trios titles, as soon as we're done with this, then like we're just about to see, I mean, we have been seeing it on TV, but seeing the Jet Speed guys just getting pushed to the moon, you know, after all the great work they've already done in the trios division and tag division. I just kicked myself for not mentioning that, but I guess he wasn't named as one of the members.
I don't think I really saw it coming because the Fletcher injuries just sort of came out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I didn't really have enough time to like think of like what story is being projected. But yeah, I mean, you know, Speedball and Kevin Knight, they've sort of told some solo stories over the past few weeks, and definitely with Swerve pretty much, you know, sprinkling in, you know, into Kevin Knight's ear, like, hey man, like, you could be the next one, like you could be the guy, like you just gotta, you know, take things up a notch or blah blah blah, you know. So I'll be really interested to see how Kevin Knight carries himself as a TNT champ now, because he's still sort of in this tag team, and I don't know if it'll change his attitude or whatever he'll be built. But at the end of the day, you know, he got it. Did he get singles gold before Speedball? Speedball hasn't won any singles gold in AEW, right?
No, but I don't think so, but he's gotten, I mean, he's been putting a lot of big main event type matches over the past month. So
that's always going to be a good story to tell, man, especially with that tag team and losing the trios title.
Well, having them go one-on-one?
They're not going one-on-one, but anytime like you have a tag team partner and one of them gets gold before you do, especially if it's their first gold, it's always a fun little story to tell, especially if they're like cordial and not at each other's throats. You know what I mean? So I'll be really interested to see where they take that dynamic from here and see how they build out Kevin Knight, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
for him.
It would have been.
And I just love the Casino Battle Royal as a concept, like just in general, you know? So that was dope.
Well, I like Kevin Knight as the winner. Yeah, injury sucks for Fletcher. Do we know what the actual injury is? Did they announce it? I remember just saying it's reading due to
be out for some time. So
well, obviously, if he's giving it up, that's pretty crazy. So best wishes to him. I think the storytelling of the match would have been a lot better if Ciampa had walked in as champ, right? Instead of having to sort of paint him as the de facto champ, you know, the previous champ. And it would have been more meaningful for Kevin Knight, although it's, you know, certainly not the only time they've had to do interim, you know, title holders in AEW. I think it's generally a good practice. But that match was a lot of fun. You know what match I loved? Actually, there's two more matches that I loved that we haven't even talked about. One, I will say, the conglomeration match might have been my most enjoyable conglomeration experience of all time. I'm not always down with the conglomeration. And I'm not always down with Orange Cassidy for that matter. I was really stoked to see Kyle O'Reilly back, but I love to see Orange Cassidy in a trio because he is necessarily outweighed. Like, how to say this? When he's in a tag team, it's like it's the serious guy and the funny guy. And for me, that wears thin. But if he's just one of three guys, then the funny guy is not as significant. He actually gets made to be more serious. And the whole thing, the vibe just feels better. I was shocked that the Dogs lost after just winning it. But I was
Kid got hurt, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think he got hurt mid-match.
Like legit hurt, so they had to write it off? Well, regardless, I have never been so excited for a conglomeration win as I was. That match was a whole lot of fun. And O'Reilly, Kid was just gone for the whole last end of the match.
But yeah, that entrance. One of my favorite pro wrestling entrances I've ever seen.
You remember when Buddy Murphy and what's her name? What's his name? And Brody King started that like trio right after Aleister Black left AEW, and they were called weren't they called like the three-headed dog or something? Like it was basically just the Dog's gimmick, which I guess they'll never get to go back to now. But yeah, the entrance is great. I fucking love the Dogs. I loved it. I like that they're all different sizes, like the Freebirds. You know, they don't look like you can kind of tell the difference between them. Yeah, I very much enjoy them. If that is an injury, that sucks. And if that was a call on the fly, I had no idea. I mean, it's only 10 minutes, but I really enjoyed that match. Congratulations to OC, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly for being your new trios champs. But I think this is my new run now. I think I'm 2 pay-per-view matches into being the biggest Darby Allin fan in the world. That Darby Allin Andrade match was so great that I was excited by the end to see Andrade get the AEW title match. I mean, Darby to get the title match. What did you think? Did you enjoy Darby and Andrade?
I feel like Andrade's wrestled like 5 of my favorite matches this year already. There was like a spot when Darby got flipped into a German suplex and then like maneuvered away into like Andrade doing that spinning back elbow that is like so just sharp and quick. Like that was
we call that the Kendall Gray spinning back elbow now.
That's right. Put some respect on her name. But that was really tight. And now Darby Allin has a world title shot on Dynamite this coming week. And I don't know. I feel like television title matches don't necessarily bode well for you, especially when it's
if you're gonna go, I mean, if you're gonna have MJF retain against Kenny Omega, it would be pretty wild to have him then lose it on an episode of Dynamite.
It would be. But I mean, hell,
that episode of Dynamite is 3 days before WrestleMania. Do you do something wild? Do you try to get the one question I didn't get to ask Tony, and literally
headlines.
The one question I didn't get to ask Tony last week, and literally it was because we got to other questions first. It was a very free-flowing conversation. And also when I was writing it down, I wasn't sure how he was going to answer it. Because Tony here's the thing about Tony Khan. He has long answers. So you got to be confident about every question that you ask him. If you're just like, if you ask him something that he's going to avoid answering, he's going to avoid it for 15 minutes and then you're like out of time. But anyway, I did want to ask him how conscientiously he counterbooks WrestleMania. He counter programs against WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. I do think that has to do with a lot of, by the way, the first question you asked, Tony, was about AEW being on an upswing. I'm not taking away any credit from them, but I do feel like that AEW goes on an upswing every time people just get sort of exhausted with WWE booking. It's like, we know that this alternative is out here. This other company that will take us more seriously as fans. And it just kind of takes, a few fans to go over that direction. All of a sudden it feels like a movement. There's a major change happening. But anyway, yeah. It wouldn't shock me if they counter-programmed against WrestleMania by having Darby Allin win. I'm not sure if that's the right decision, but it doesn't seem like totally out of the question. But I agree with you about this match. Andrade is absolutely sick. And one of them, and I don't know, I can only give this devil his due, although I guess that's MJF, by saying this. He made Darby Allin look more competitive than I've ever seen Darby Allin look. And not just competitive in the, what you were saying in the cold open question, he can take a licking and keep on ticking thing. He looked strong. He looked physical in a way that he doesn't always look. And I give all that credit to Andrade. I mean, this match was just fantastic. Mm-hmm. They had some crazy, crazy, crazy spots in it. Darby Allin's going to break his back 3 times tonight. Okay, cool. But it really felt like, I mean, it's just so you're right about Andrade having all these good matches. He's not quite at the bulletproof level yet, because obviously it matters if he wins or loses, but they've built him up so much that he didn't really lose anything by losing. He can still main event Dynamite and look like $1 million. Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, and I guess after he won, then it maybe should have been obvious that MJF was winning. I was not, again, I watched everything out of order, so that goes into part of my calculus too. I didn't watch this match till after I watched the main event. But I think every pay-per-view should have a number 1 contenders match on it. That just raises the stakes in some other match, and it helps tell a show-long story for wherever you're going, Mm-hmm. I love this gimmick and I love that match. What did you like the best? How are you on Cage and Cope? Do you want to do a rant? Or which tag team were you more disappointed in? Cage or Cope or Takeshita and Okada?
I mean, Cage and Cope was cool. You know, I thought it was a good match. Nothing great, nothing spectacular, just a pretty good match. I'm glad.
Did we
FTR
both pick
retained.
Cage and Did we pick Cage and Cope on that one, Brian?
Oh,
I don't even
I
remember.
picked FTR to retain.
Okay,
So
I think I did too. I feel like we were in
said
lockstep.
it didn't make sense to have them,
but I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to have them lose the titles without doing your Cope and Cage, Young Bucks, FTR, like ladder match, tag match, triple threat, whatever you do.
Oh yeah, they talked about that in on some interview this week, didn't they?
Yeah, I feel like that's the match you want to have if you're gonna have FTR drop those titles to Cage and Cope. But it was cool, man. You know, I like seeing the old heads wrestle.
Yeah, also, the old heads. You're right. First of all, old heads. I mean, it always sucks when wrestlers that old have to disappear for a while because they get some of their legs back, spring back, but they just they age. We all age so quickly now. Me compared to 2025 WrestleMania, David, I'm a shell of myself, you know. Yeah. But they're both doing great, and Christian Cage was having freaking 5-star matches on the regular back before when he was working 4-star. Let's say I don't want to be too over the top here. But yeah, I enjoyed that match. It was a good match. I mean, it was not an insignificant match either. Every match on this card felt like it was at least 15 or 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah, man. And I like my old wrestlers that look old too. You know, like I think Christian's defining Father Time a little too much. I need him to lean into the grizzledness that Adam's doing.
Christian?
Yeah,
but Christian wrestles in a shirt. That's the number one old guy move.
True. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he does wrestle shirted up.
The thing that makes Cope look older than anything else is that his hair always looks like he's in between hairstyles. Like he can't figure it out. And I'm just kind of like, why would you not just be shaving your head at this point or have it long like it was? The in between is I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But that's like an old man, you know. Sometimes you just have bad hair. You just I've been trusting the same barber for too long. You know what I mean? Yeah. What do you think about, speaking of old guys, the return of Y2J Chris Jericho to the ring and the crowd response? What'd you think?
I like watching the old guys wrestle.
Me too.
Again.
I thought this was a good return for Jericho.
Jericho was solid. And I think it makes the most sense that he lost because he shouldn't be beating people yet. Like, you took a year off. You're already old. Wherever he was going, I know you're going to hear people say, well, if you're just going to return after a year and lose to Ricochet, you couldn't just return after a year and lose to Gunther or lose to, somebody in WWE. I'm just like,
no. Well,
I'm actually good on that. I'm actually, the more like,
I didn't make any phone call. I didn't. Listen, he
Jericho came out and was doing his 1-2 thing, the more I was glad that he stayed in AEW.
Me too.
The more I was just kind of like, you know what? Yeah, like this fits. And
I don't know the details of what happened to lead him to return to AEW. What little background I have, I can just say this. All parties were interested. WWE was definitely interested. Jericho was interested in going there. I don't know if it came down to a money thing or somebody got cold feet or if it was just like we talked about along the way. It could have just been a straight booking thing. Like WWE could have been like, you can come and lose to Gunther, like whatever. And he was just like, no, I kind of want like a run, But my guess is it was something as simple as money in the end. And they just, he ended up where he wanted to be. And I'm glad that he's there. I agree that he should have lost, if for nothing else. And he hasn't really explained why he's back yet or where he's been enough. Like I feel like there's a character arc here that has the potential to be super interesting. And having him win like a meaningless match against Ricochet doesn't help. I think this really just puts him into place. This establishes where he wants us to be. That's the thing about Jericho's returns. They're so notable. But very rarely is he the person he's going to be on the first day that he returns or he shows up in a new promotion or whatever. He kind of evolves into it before our eyes, which is how you should be telling stories in wrestling. It's not all dirt sheet stuff. It's like he shows up and now we're like, okay, what's the point? What's the plan?
Yeah, Jericho always like comes back and plants a seed. Like
yes, exactly.
Gone for a while. He always does something seed planting, whether he has a new haircut or he's smiling too much or he's doing some weird catchphrase or he's walking around with a list. Like he always plants some sort of seed that eventually catches on months down the line. What that seed is so far, the old washed vet, maybe, you know what I mean? Like that's a story that could be told. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see because he didn't just lose; he got embarrassed. Like he lost with the gun, and then they were like, "Yeah, hit him with a lion salt. Yeah, finish him with that piece of shit finisher," and he did. You know, so it's gonna be real interesting to see what they asked Jericho after this. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't really a ton of outside interference, right? Like it just seemed like Ricochet just beat him straight up. Or oh wait, no, I think there was some outside interference here and there. Yeah, but
the demand dudes were involved throughout. So
you know, maybe Jericho will find some friends again, you know, and see where that happens.
I kind of hope he's a lone wolf. I don't know who the best friend for Jericho would be, unless he brought back people from his past or something.
Or maybe he's trying to go into the vortex, and people are like, "Oh no, I'm not going in that shit again."
Who from his past? Jericho has like one of the greatest WrestleMania resumes ever, right?
So Jericho?
Ryan? Yeah. Well, he had the Shawn Michaels match, which was maybe not one of the best, one of Shawn Michaels.
I was going to say, like, Jericho's got some heaters, but I wouldn't say, I would hold his resume up to a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of his WrestleMania matches, I think we had high anticipations for, but didn't.
Well, because it's Jericho. I mean, I remember talking about Jericho Punk is like, this is the Savage Steamboat. Jericho got like the Savage Steamboat award before WrestleMania, like every time he wrestled. I feel like the Kevin Owens match was sick. The AJ Styles match was just like let's have a good match.
Dirty Dango. Yeah,
love that. That's who should come back. He just retired, but that's who he should be in the vortex. Bring Dango back to bring him to AEW.
Yeah, that would be funny.
He has the Edge match, the triple threat.
Like that was forgettable.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of on paper for Chris Jericho's WrestleMania stuff. He always has a big match going in, but he kind of got slotted as the guy. As the non-title like big match guy, right? So like it was always him versus the other person who didn't have a big thing going on, right? But Kurt Angle and Benoit Triple Threat was ridiculously good. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that one.
I enjoy it.
What are the other ones? I love the Triple H match.
It's better watching it in post, but the crowd was so dead. But if you like watching for the actual graps, it was good.
And he's got some Money in the Bank matches on there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty hearty. I'm looking at it now. It's a pretty hearty.
I enjoyed the Christian match. You know, with Trish Stratus made the heel turn.
The Chris Jericho versus William Regal at 17 or X7.
I like that. Yeah, it was a fun way to open that show.
That was a very old school. I mean, very like I definitely saw this in WCW 5 times kind of match. Yeah, so good. Congrats to Chris Jericho. I'm sad we're not going to be celebrating him in Vegas this weekend, but I'm glad to see him back. Okada and Takeshita finally came to blows, regardless of everything else that happened. And by the way, this was a 5-star pay-per-view. But even if everything else had sucked, I would have given it 5 stars for Tony finally pulling the trigger on the Okada-Takeshita breakup. It was about damn time. Is there anything else? What else before we get to these interviews? Before we get to Shawn Michaels? Before we get to Paul Walter Hauser? Is there anything else we want to talk about? Any other? Oh, we got to talk about SmackDown. McAfee's giving away discount tickets,
and he's in the building now. Ben Cruz, that is.
Oh, Ben's here.
Yeah, he was on site at SmackDown.
Oh yeah. So how was it? Let's tell. We're just about to start talking about your favorite wrestler, Pat McAfee. And the promo
is that what they're saying?
The promo that he cut on Friday. What was the reaction like there?
Oh man, in the building, didn't play great. I remember turning to the person next to me and just clarifying: did he just offer us discounted tickets to WrestleMania? Yeah. Because I thought I was kind of sitting where I was sitting. Was behind the announcers, but a couple rows back. So like the speakers like weren't hitting us exactly. So I thought I heard him wrong. And when I found out I heard him correctly, extremely disappointed. The F you Pat chants in San Jose, shout out to my people out here, were loud and proud. It was fantastic.
This was such a weird decision for me. The tickets were expensive, and we've talked about it a lot, but like 1 week out from WrestleMania, nobody's buying plane fare and getting a hotel at this point, right? This is only speaking to like Las Vegas area
say
fans.
That to me at church yesterday.
You literally had what say that to you?
A lady at church said that to me yesterday. Literally what you just said.
What church do you go to?
It's wrestling.
No, but wait, what did she? Is that she
the
said
Church of Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
No, she was talking like we was talking about wrestling. You know, he was talking about the tickets. I was telling them I wasn't going to be there next week, and I said, "Did you watch SmackDown?" And I said, "You know, they 25% off." And she said, "Well, yeah, now's a great time." She said because she wanted to go, but this just was like it's the plane and the hotels. Like it's just too late.
Yeah, plane tickets are more expensive now than they were a month ago, and they're going to make up the difference. You know, like I guess it's good for local fans, but.
I do want to meet somebody who in Vegas, we're going to scour the streets for them. A person who said, you know what? I initially wasn't going to go to Mania, wasn't going to book a hotel, wasn't going to book a flight, but since Pat McAfee, 25% off, sign me the hell up. You know, I want to meet that person.
Do you think there are going to be a Pat McAfee fan when we find that person? Is it going to be somebody who thinks he's the babyface in this whole thing?
Yes. That actually be great. Sorry, Kaz.
Oh, man.
Nah, it's... The only thought I came away from this with is one of two things. One, they must... I'm talking about WWE now. They must really think they got a fucking banger on their hands. They must think that, like, yo... this WrestleMania is about to blow everything we've done out the water. They must think that. They have to be thinking this. Because the thought process to have McAfee come out there, and mind you, I was with it for a little bit. Like he came out in the pickup truck. He's getting booed out the building. He's breaking the fourth wall right back to the crowd. He's getting real heat from folks. He's doing the "you can't touch me." Like I'm actually with it for a minute. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, okay, let me see where this is going. Let me see what's happening here. He gets to the ring, and Pat's blurring the lines. You know what I mean? Giving the insider terms, doing the things that's getting him really booed out the building in that joint. And I'm like, all right. Not the guy you're wrestling at WrestleMania, but okay, you're drawing some heat. You're getting people on Cody Rhodes' side. The fact that you send him out there to announce the ticket discount, like
it has to be so deliberate, right?
And it's not even just like a yo. They didn't even have the presence of mind to be like, it's 25 off, just 25 off. They're like, nah, you got from tonight to Monday to decide if you were on the fence between flying to Vegas between today and Monday. If you don't decide in 2.5 days, this 25% discount that I got from the kindness of my heart from Dodge, Ram, whatever, motor trucks, is out the window. It's done. You didn't even let the guy who, and maybe they're much smarter than me, and tonight on Raw, CM Punk's gonna bring this up and it's like, hey, you assholes, like I wanted the ticket prices to go down. Leave them down for the entire damn show. Like what? Be able to get the 25% discount on the walk up, like something. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't just make any sense.
But why is McAfee the one doing this? Like
why is he the one doing this?
It wouldn't have made any significant difference if they just had him do something else and had Michael Cole make that announcement. Hey, 25% off tickets for the next 3 days. Like that would have been a normal thing. It wouldn't have made them seem desperate. It would have felt pretty regular, you know?
It's a true test to see if they've really lost this much touch with their audience, or they really know when they got something in the chamber for WrestleMania.
Okay, in the chamber,
all of this to make sense and be and deliver upon. Because as of right now,
we haven't talked about this.
A whole lot of sense.
We haven't talked about this, Brian. I want to get your takes on this too. But we haven't talked about this, but it's weirdly we're on about the same page, which is to say, I spent most of Friday trying to put myself in the mindset of what if this was all on purpose? What if this was a good decision? Like, what if we look back in a year and say they worked us so bad, that was the most beautiful decision they could have made. What will be the reason why? Like, what could have happened, you know? And I can't quite put it together. Although there is a growing vibe that they're just... Is it possible they're just...
delivering?
No, I mean, that, sure. Is it possible that they're just calling a mulligan on last WrestleMania when The Rock didn't show up and the John Cena thing, heel turn, was so poorly received?
People keep saying that. Like, Pat McAfee is very popular. I love his show. He is not the fucking Rock or Travis Scott.
But he's clearly acting. But he's clearly acting as the TKO emissary. He's clearly the guy that Ari Emanuel, the next guy that Ari Emanuel called into duty.
Which is why I was with it. Like, when he was coming in saying, like, oh, this is above your pay grade and da-da-da. Like, I'm interested in that. I'm like, okay, like, where is this going? Like, okay, you're clearly getting carte blanche from somebody that's not on the screen. Like, you clearly... We know how popular and famous you are and how much power you have in sports
like The
media.
Rock, yes.
Exactly. So, like, I'm interested in that. Like, that draws me to see where this is going. And like I said before, it's either one or two things. They've either completely lost touch with the pulse of the fan, or they got everybody so gripped by the balls that they know at WrestleMania.
But this is what I'm saying is
I'm trying... got something that's going to make people be like, you fucking got me. God damn it, that was good. And you better truly believe you had that in your back pocket too.
Well, yes, I think that I think the answer is weirdly somewhere in between, even though you said there's only two options. There's no way that they're sending him out there like that on Friday, oblivious to the reaction that he got. No, so it's got to be on purpose.
They've already given you a stipulation. They've already said, oh, if Randy Orton doesn't win, you'll never see Pat McAfee again. So I don't know how much of this was an issue. I didn't think it was that much of an issue, but clearly it was. They're clearly trying to get Cody Rhodes cheered and Randy Orton booed.
Yeah, is that what it all comes down to?
I think that's what it all comes down. I think it comes down to three things. They want to get Cody Rhodes cheered for obvious reasons. You get Cody Rhodes cheered by having Randy Orton booed for obvious reasons. But the third reason is just a theory, a reason that I feel like just hearing from various people within sports media that this is the only thing that makes any logical sense to any of this. The McAfee, the main event, all this type of stuff. And for people who have nothing to gain, like, don't listen to wrestling podcasts, don't do the dirt sheets, don't do none of that stuff. The only reason I feel like any of this is happening or a way this makes sense is the WWE ESPN deal is not going the way they wanted it. Period. I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to there's not enough motherfuckers signing up for ESPN Plus to say, hey, I'm watching WrestleMania. If they knew how many people had signed up for WrestleMania between Royal Rumble and now, and they would not be dropping no prices on tickets. They wouldn't give $2 if you guys couldn't afford tickets, if people were buying them. They wouldn't give $2 if they knew they had 2 to 3 to 5 million people who subscribe to the ESPN Plus in the past several months, knowing that they get WrestleMania. They wouldn't give $2. The reason why they're doing this is because I think they all know
the ESPN numbers.
Somebody feels like they have buyer's remorse and they got to throw everything they can to make people pay attention and watch and get attention to it and all that type of stuff. Or someone's, I honestly think that's it. Like, I heard that Stephen A. Smith was supposed to be a part of this somehow. Also, apparently he was approached by this. I'm like, oh, now it all makes fucking sense. It all makes fucking sense. Like, there's not enough people that's gonna watch WrestleMania this year on this ESPN Plus app. or whatever, the ESPN Unlimited app, whatever it is. There's not enough people watching it. There's not enough people. They looked at the numbers and the data, and they were like, we were expected to be here, and I don't think we're here yet. So we got to get this guy who gets us here to meet us here. And I'm sure Pat McAfee was a choice. I'm sure Stephen A. Smith was another choice.
I'm sure having the free hour on both nights, on ESPN both nights was part of the deal.
Hour,
but it also feels like, how many more are you going to, like, are you really still hoping to get people to buy with the free hour? Because if so, or just watch, because if people already have the app, I don't know.
About this. If they had enough data to not worry about this, they would not be throwing all of these gimmicks at us. They would just be worried about putting on a fire show because, hey, us putting on this fire show has led ESPN Plus to surge up 60, 80, 90, whatever fucking percent since doing the premium live events on ESPN. These guys love touting their numbers. Yep. They tout their numbers more than anybody on the planet Earth when it comes to anything sports media.
With the network era.
You ain't seen them say shit about the ESPN Plus Unlimited. You haven't. And this doesn't mean just this. Well, is what
in some ways, the greatest failure, the greatest failure for ESPN might be low-key the greatest success for WWE, which is that if it turned out that all the WWE fans were already subscribed to ESPN Plus, right? If it turns out that the WWE fan base are just like, no, we're the same people, instead of being this weird outlier group that is just like a bonus tacked on. But no, you're right. I mean, those numbers can't be great. Ben? Is he there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I can't see your face in this setup. What's your take?
My take is that what if, so I think with Punk starting this, like he started it, right? He's the one who said lower the ticket prices.
Which was a very weird thing for a wrestler to say. I mean, Punk's the guy, but it wasn't. Yeah.
But once he went there, what if they were just like, okay, we have Pat McAfee, we know he can do ad reads for sure. Can he cut a promo? Yes, but he knows how to do ad reads. He's got a show, he's got a podcast.
There you go.
Let's have him cut a live podcast read on SmackDown. Let's see how it plays.
We know he can do one thing.
But now, what if they double down on this, right? So like, it's 25% off until, I think it's the end of Raw tonight. What if Punk comes on tonight and says, you know what? I'll one-up you, Patrick McAfee. Tickets are now 35% off. This is the Punk pricing. This is the bit that we talked about. And then they just keep going lower. And then, like, if you want Cody to be super over, maybe the Friday, the SmackDown go home on like the night before, he's like, you know what?
He's just 50% off tickets at that point.
Who's cheering Cody at that point?
Yeah, he's just like
he's throwing tickets into the crowd.
What if he's just like first come, first serve? The rest of them are free on day of.
He sent the wrestling club. He paid for the wrestling club to go. So
right. What if he does that? What if he ships people in his people drive with him on his $10,000 bus, whatever that meet and greet was, and he just drives them right into the arena, and it's 75% off $10,000. Like, if we're gonna do this, let's just fucking do it. let's pander like we've never.
I love that.
Before.
I love that. Push it out.
It's like, yo,
they should also, by the way, they should also do a if they want to make some extra scratch. Just have Pat McAfee himself now offer up a tour of Cody Rhodes' bus for like $50,000 a pop. Except Pat's just gonna be like, we're gonna go in there. I'm just gonna piss all over the whole thing. You know, I'm just gonna talk shit about Cody, and then we're gonna set it on fire. All right, it's gonna be great. Anyway, what were you saying, Kaz?
Nah, it's just weird. There's no way. There's some data out there that scared the shit out of some people that make a lot of decisions, and they were just like, we gotta fix this. I don't care what you do. I don't care what story you're telling. We need more eyes on this now. Yeah. Like, they must know. Whatever number was trending towards April 17th and 18th or 19th or whatever, and they saw it, it wasn't satisfactory. And they know WrestleMania is the biggest show they got. Mm-hmm. So if WrestleMania is big, the rest of the premium live events, surprise to nobody, may not be as big. And I don't want to say there's buyer's remorse. I don't want to say the audiences probably didn't. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what success looks like for WWE and ESPN. all I know is the stuff that they've been doing, as much, and y'all know how much I bangs with Pat McAfee, like, and Cody and Randy and everybody involved in all this. They aren't maneuvering like somebody who's sure of their product. That is the biggest indictment to this entire build. They aren't moving like someone who is sure of their product, sure of their show, sure that you guys are going to pack that bitch out for 2 nights in a row in Vegas. They're just not. You could like it. You could like the work shoot stuff. You could like the insidery terms. You could like McAfee saying Cody's going to go suck Triple H's ass, all that type of stuff. Like Randy going 0-9 over. You could like all that type of stuff. None of it feels like it's come from a place of confidence. Everything seems reactive. Everything seems like it's disjointed. Nobody's talking like this is something that everybody is 100% fully bought in on. Like, no matter what you think about the storyline, nobody seems to be 100% bought in on it. Like, nobody seems to want to believe in it more than anybody is willing to without looking silly. Because
did you feel the same way a year ago when we was going into Cena, when it was apparent, like it was kind of clear we wasn't going to get Rock for Cena Cody?
I don't think it was clear we weren't going to get Rock until Mania.
Like, okay. Yeah. No, we were talking about the whole build-up.
I still thought that Rocky was going to show up at WrestleMania. It wasn't until he lifted up that title and the fireworks went off, and I was like, God damn, The Rock's really not coming out. You know?
Yeah. But even if that still felt like you had to be there. Right? Mm-hmm. This not given, you gotta be like Cody finished the story. Everybody wanted to be in Philly so they could say they was there. This don't feel like I need to be in the building for this.
Well, no, it makes you feel like what do all these other people know that I don't know? That they're skipping WrestleMania.
yeah. I mean, and it doesn't add to the fact that, like, okay, the first time in Vegas ain't gonna hit like the second time, obviously. Yep. On top of all that, it was John Cena's last WrestleMania. He was going for the world title. He was freshly heel, so we didn't have like this weeks of what's the word of hindsight to see that maybe this heel run isn't going as good as we thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was still a lot of belief that like WrestleMania Vegas, and that's not to say WrestleMania Vegas was whack. Like, there was lots of good stuff about WrestleMania Las Vegas. There's going to be lots of good stuff about WrestleMania Vegas this year.
Absolutely.
It's something specific about these Cody Rhodes world title builds that always comes with some fuckery.
But here's the thing. Right.
It always comes with some fuckery. Whether he's pointing the wrong way at the Royal Rumble and you know what I mean? Saying like, nah, bro, like we're doing this, or we're fucking the Cody crowd.
But this is where, when I said I tried to watch it as if, what if they were doing the right thing? This is kind of what I'm getting to. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's so hard to wrap my head around it too. But it does feel like they're doing whatever they're doing with more confidence this year. Like they're trying, at least WWE creative. It might not be true, but WWE creative, it feels like they think that they're getting one over on that tradition. That they're either using that tradition of Cody fuckery to amplify it and make this year matter more, or they think they're creating the fuckery. Like, they know it's like, listen, maybe the most impressive thing in this entire WrestleMania build, the most impressive thing that WWE / creative WWE, whatever, has pulled off is, and it might be a bad thing, but the most impressive thing is Sami Zayn is getting booed by, like, organically booed by crowds. In every other WrestleMania since we've been doing this thing, the question has been, how do you get the crowd to be okay with the fact that Sami Zayn's not in the main event? And how do we hold Sami Zayn back? Now they figured out how to get him booed. Like, they really put it in, and the Cody thing feels like almost an attempt in the same direction. Like, I don't know if it's the right idea, but they're making the fuckery part of the storyline now. You know, we're just like
different. I think it's different in Sammy's case. Like, Sammy has the unfortunate position of being against like the most charismatic dude to come in wrestling in like the past like like since '98 Rock, like the person who just fucking got it immediately, and everyone's like, "Yep."
Yeah, but it's not Trick. It's Carmelo is the reason he's getting booed. It's because he's now seen as the dude keeping the guys who deserve to be on the card off the card.
And Chad Gable too. I guess last year it was the same boat. I don't know. I feel like, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. It's 2 years in a row.
But
by the way, the Chad Gable, we didn't talk about the mask versus mask match that's now been announced for Los Grandes. Is that happening at Triple Mania? Like later, like in the summer or fall? Or is that supposed? Was that a that wasn't a WrestleMania call out, right?
I don't know.
They didn't announce a date for a show. They just said it's going to happen.
That was the greatest pull apart brawl this world has ever seen. Outside of Memphis television, that was so believable. Did you guys watch that?
I saw it. God, I wish I could credit the guy who tweeted this, but I'm just going to paraphrase here. Somebody's going to say. He said, if you could go back into 2016 and say, listen, WWE is going to own AAA. They're going to have all of these incredible luchadors like Rey Mysterio and Penta and Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. And it's going to be booked by The Undertaker. But the most over fucking luchador in the planet's going to be this German, Austrian white boy. You know, like he's going to be like, the answer to who the next Rey Mysterio was, like, for the past, 8 to 10 years have been all these guys. Like, it's low-key going to be El Grande Americano. Like, nobody is more over than that dude. Like, he's unbelievable. I saw, an artwork of, the dude, catching him mid, watch that forearm, how he leaps into Chad Gable's face.
Oh, they went hard.
Oh, man, that was just, it looked real.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's he understands Latinos so much because the passion that
he's dating one apparently. That's
exactly. It's the passion that he came out with to defend his woman, his Latina woman, was that's.
I don't know. I know that no one here is going to know the answer to this question.
Yeah.
But in the mask lore of Mexico, do they acknowledge that it's Ludwig Kaiser underneath this mask? Are we allowed to talk about Ludwig Kaiser's face or publish his face because we know in storyline that we all kind of know that it's him and he had no mask before, or is he subsumed into the rules of mask culture?
I mean, not to put you on the spot, you're the masked man.
That is true.
I'm testing you. I actually know the answer. I'm not going to tell you, but it's a test. No, it's listen, that was absolutely sick. It was so good. Wait, did anything else happen on SmackDown before we lose the thread and have to leave totally?
Yachty and Trick were really good.
Yeah.
Kind of over.
Yachty is great. Yachty's one of those people who's a big enough fan to know how to do it.
Yeah. And he's involved just enough.
Royce Keys' debut was good.
He did.
Oh, what? Royce Keys. Your future Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. No, I think no accident. They debut him 1 week before the Andre, and he's set up. Although a lot of people are predicting Danhausen, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But yeah, good look by Royce Keys. All right, we got too much stuff going on. It's WrestleMania week. Before we say goodbye, long before we say goodbye, get ready. The Heartbreak Kid is here. And Paul Walter Hauser is going to follow him up. These are two separate interviews, but here we go. Welcome to the Masked Man Show, the one, the only, the living legend, Shawn Michaels. And now we welcome back to the Masked Man Show, probably, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, an absolute living legend, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all having me.
Now, Shawn, I know we just had you on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. With Carmelo Anthony, and one of those moments where you leave a room and you forget the question you want to ask as soon as you leave it and just remember it. So I have to ask you this before we leave. Was Carmelo Anthony the inspiration for naming Carmelo Hayes?
Well, I believe, again, that, I think Melo was a bit of a fan. So we have... sort of the process we go through sometimes is, the talent, a list of names. And so there are oftentimes, so he had, some names that were basketball players on there. That's one of the reasons, our talent always kind of goes through the list of names. So now technically, Carmelo would be the one to ask about that, but that was easily our assumption because there were other basketball names on that list, if I recall.
Gotcha. It was one of those things that bugged me as soon as our interview was over. I was like, how did I not ask him that? But glad you answered that for me.
Are there people down there at the PC who like picking the best name for the new talent as part of their job description, or does everybody just chip in?
No, that's sort of from a creative standpoint. We try to, again, a talent sort of, comes up with names, and then they have their, their list of their favorites. And if there are a couple ones that sound better or worse or whatever, but a lot of times, ultimately, it always comes down to 9 times out of 10, it's more so what the talent wants, but it also has to be kind of what clears legal and things of that nature. So that's honestly the biggest point, is that there's a lot of reasons why certain names won't work. It always comes down to legal issues more than anything else.
Got it.
Yeah. Now, Shawn, April 13th, HBK, Heartbreak Kid, Becoming Shawn Michaels, drops on Peacock. And I don't have the stats in front of me. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But I'm willing to make a safe bet that you lead the WWE in most wrestling documentaries, right? Like, just as far as like the most times we've seen you sit in front of a camera and just talk about all the controversy, all of the life stories, your own life story, all of it. What about this documentary is different from all of the ones you've done in the past throughout your storied career?
Well, I will say, because couple things. One, maybe the record for the most documentaries is only because I'm the one that screwed up his life the most. So,
I'm glad you said it. I didn't want to say it, but
yay for me on that one. That's a real one to pat yourself on the back about. But no, when they mentioned that they were doing a documentary, I won't lie. My response was like, really? I mean, what are we going to do that hasn't been covered? But I was surprised that, this one, that it had so much in it footage that I haven't seen before, which I was surprised by. And of course, it, begs the question of like, man, why don't I pay attention to when cameras are around? I've really got to start being more, attentive to noticing when cameras are around. But surprised by that. But again, it's more about the after and what the work that I've done in NXT. And I think a lot of that relationship between myself and the talent, and certainly the growth of from a family standpoint. But I think that's more than anything else going to be the difference maker in it is a lot of the work that I do in NXT is highlighted on this documentary as opposed to anything in the past.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. I was watching a little bit of archival Shawn Michaels footage in preparation for talking to you today. And of course, I always just end up going down a giant like AWA rabbit hole when I'm doing this sort of stuff. But I was watching your earliest stuff in the AWA, and I had to ask, with all respect, because we know the heights that you achieved in your career. What's more embarrassing, your early AWA ring work or your early AWA promo work?
Probably, I don't know. I think I'd easily say promo work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think because, working wise, you're still, you're learning. There's reps. You know what I mean? And the certainly the same thing with promos. It's going to be reps, but I'll say this: like I've never enjoyed watching myself. I've never enjoyed listening to myself. for the longest time, I never realized my voice. Everybody just talks about my voice being deep and stuff like that. And those are things that when you're hearing it, you don't ever really notice. And so those, I don't know. There are some people that absolutely adore watching themselves on television. I'm simply not one of them. And I certainly didn't like it early on. But to answer your question, I'd have to say probably easily promo work for sure.
The promo stuff seems like it's coming from a different human being than the HBK that we would come to love. What was it? Is that just a confidence and repetition thing? I mean, your voice seems to have dropped an octave too. Is it? Do you find a confidence at somewhere along the way that allows you to be the world champion?
Yeah, I think it's getting comfortable with who you are and where you're at. Early on, gosh, you just don't have any idea other than what you've kind of seen and heard before. I can remember early on, just in my mind, I don't know, trying to sound or at least come across like Ricky Morton. And
Sure.
It was that going to, that's the closest thing to being cool that I could think of, that I found that I might, want to replicate. And I don't know. And so it is, a lot of it is just trying to find out who you are and getting comfortable. And also being able to, it's one thing to go out there live with the fans. That's a different feeling altogether. But when, back then in AWA, you were just there in the studio on, I think whatever it was, Wednesday mornings. And we were just in there, doing one or two after another. And you're stepping off camera and whatever, sitting there and talking for a while. And then you've got to step in and do one again. And all right, now in Minnetonka, we're going to wrestle, Buddy and Doug here and do that. So trying to step in and out of that was far more difficult back then. And I, and again, truth be told, I'm sure you're not, trying to get yourself overly focused and in the zone and just not paying as much attention to it as you probably should have when you were younger.
Was there a moment? Sorry, Kaz.
Go ahead, Ben.
I was just curious, Shawn. What was the moment for you between that kind of that AWA run and the HBK that we've come to know and love, as David mentioned earlier? What was that moment where everything clicked for you with your promo work and your in-ring work, where you thought, all right, I've got a hold on this now, and then that obviously leads you to become who you became?
Well, I'll say one of the things I mentioned to talent now, that there are different times. And for me, I feel like it was like every 5 years, you kind of feel as if like, okay, now I'm getting this. And then 5 years goes by and you go, oh, I didn't know anything then, but now I'm getting this. And kind of in 5-year intervals, then at some point, around 35 or 40, you realize, okay, you don't ever really get this stuff down. You just evolve and grow and continue to get better because you're maturing and learning more. But I feel as if when I got with Sherry is where I started to at least get a comfortability with the Heartbreak Kid and kind of figuring out who this guy was going to be. With Sherry and with the Mirror, that was getting me a little bit more comfortable. And then, being able to work off her kind of helped me, develop some of the swagger. And that gave me enough confidence to when I was no longer with her to kind of continue that swagger without her. So I have to give, I try to do it on a regular basis, but I have to give Sherry just a ton of credit for helping me find that character and who I was, because I just don't think I'd have been able to do it without her.
Shawn, I want to fast forward just a little bit because the documentary, well, at least the trailer, I haven't seen the full thing yet, definitely has a lot of emphasis on your work in NXT and developing the new generation of wrestlers. And you have seen a lot of classes of NXT talent come through And this upcoming WrestleMania, you have Javon Evans on the card. You have Obafemi in the main spot. You got Trick Williams for the United States Championship. And you've had a lot of classes since you've taken over the tenure of NXT. Is this men's class specifically the class you're most proud of as far as people who have taken from NXT straight to the main roster?
Well, certainly those three are getting a lot of focus. I'm very proud of. I don't know. I'm proud of. I guess almost all of those 2.0 people because they were all included in that. Maybe less so Javon, but I don't know. I would never.
Grayson Waller,
Mello,
Tony D.
Yeah. I mean, JD was in there. Ilya was in there. There are just a lot of individuals. My goodness. Lash and Stephanie and Julia, and again, I know those were a lot after, and certainly Stephanie and Julia had clearly, other experience. But, because to some of those people, again, even Gunther, I worked with him so much over in the UK. So a lot of those guys, JD McDonough, those were a lot of people that I, was working with from the very beginning in UK. So there's a lot of people that you get you get connected to, but certainly obviously this year a lot of the focus. I don't know that anybody has come from NXT in recent years and been elevated as quickly as these three have, and then going on to WrestleMania. And so I'm thrilled for all those individuals. Did some interviews the other day, and Lash is going to, be, having her first opportunity at WrestleMania. And I have to say, that's honestly, I've been fortunate to be at a lot of WrestleManias. The only reason I go now is to watch, our NXT kids go out there and enjoy their moment out there at WrestleMania. So, that's the best part of this stuff is watching them all go out there and, stand on that stage and soak all that in, hoping that they enjoy absolutely every bit of it.
Are you sitting in Gorilla when this happens? Like when you see your kids out there, are you sitting in Gorilla or are you in a special office?
Yeah, no, I'm usually sitting there in Gorilla. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last couple of years, I've been up there, and hugged them before they went out and hugged them when they came back, and I just want to watch them, do their thing and take it in. So it's always it's an incredibly cool experience.
Now I know you want your students to achieve greatness, right? To go to WrestleMania, to go on to achieve as much as they can. But is there anybody that you wish you could have just kept forever from like a booking perspective?
Oh, well, not forever because because that's you're not doing a good job if you've got them forever.
Right.
But certainly Javon obviously was somebody I had, I was begging for can you just keep him for another 6 months, if not, because we had every intention. He was kind of one of the last ones that they were like, because we, from an NXT standpoint, we were in our minds going to obviously build around Javon for the next year. And that was, that was kind of the model. And then they're like, oh, no, we're taking him too. And I'm like, I pushed back a little bit, and was like, can we just 6 months? Like, no. And like 3, like, no. And I'm like, all right. So fair enough. And then, but come on, that's, if that's the worst news you have to have is that they're taking too many of your people, that means we're doing a pretty good job. And that's something that we always have to remember. And that's, part of my job as well is trying to remind people that, hey, this is what we do. Yes. In many respects, yes, we're like the NCAA, we're a brand, but at the same time, they're not meant to stay here. We're not going to build around these people for years and years. It's just not the reality of NXT. And so understanding that you're going to, have these times of setting back and resetting and having to go through a building phase again is just something, that you have to do. It's just no matter how many times you tell yourself that, each time it happens, you're like, geez, is anything going wrong? It's like, no, it's that reset time again. And that's where we're at now. But again, it's always exciting to see who steps up, and we've got people starting to do that. So once again, very excited for the future of NXT.
Shawn, a good part of your legacy is always in some way, shape, or form going to be tied back to Bret Hart. And Bret Hart has always been somebody who is not afraid to share his opinion on the current product, on the past, on you, on Triple H, all these things. Like he always has a take. 2-part question. One, do you keep up with any of that? Do you hear any of the stuff Bret says about the current product? And 2, when's the last time you guys have had a conversation?
The last time we had a conversation, I think it was the Hall of Fame last year.
Okay.
Actually, because we were in the same dressing room, and helped him put on his suspenders. Yeah, no, but I mean in a good way. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's like the first time ever wearing suspenders, and I've worn them before. So, but we chatted then, and look, and I think it wasn't long after that that I heard him. So I hear about whatever doing things with Vince, which you go like, all right, what are you gonna do? Never happened. But it's the wrestling business. So I don't know what's anymore. I'm never sure what's out there to get a rise out of people or to make things. It's the wrestling business, and I just don't put a lot of stock in that. All I know is we had a nice conversation in the room. Helped him put his suspenders on. He went out there. There might be, I don't know, things that he doesn't like. I understand that, and there's lots of things people don't like. Everybody's has a right to their opinion on everything these days. I don't begrudge anyone that. And I don't know. I just, I do everything I can to focus on me and my life. And, I know that we're a happy family. I know we have a good time in NXT, and I'm doing everything that I can to give back to the business that's been so good to me. I just, it sounds silly, I guess, but because good news and stuff like that is not click worthy and binge worthy, but I live a positive, joyful life. It's boring as hell, I guess, to some people, but I'd just rather do that than the other. And I always say that I don't want to be bitter, crotchety old timer. I feel like we've got enough of those, and not to imply that anyone is. I'm just saying that I prefer to look at the whole life thing of the glass is half full type stuff and go from there. So it ain't popular.
Give us something clickable.
Let's give him a good clickable headline, Shawn. Is there a world where we can see a Shawn Michaels Bret Hart guest seminar in the Performance Center, where you're both working together on the future of professional wrestling? Is there any likelihood of that ever happening with you two?
Well, I can't see Bret wanting to, move his entire life, you know what I mean, to Florida or anything like that. But it certainly, I don't know, because I'm sure he's been asked before. I'd have to ask Matt, but I'm sure, if he ever wanted to come down and do a seminar or guest coach, but he's just never really shown much interest in that kind of stuff. But you'd be crazy not to think that Bret Hart doesn't add value to anything when it comes to wrestling, for God's sake. So if he was ever interested in doing something like that, we'd jump at the chance for that. I don't know if that's a clickable headline for you, but
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, we see
I
a
think-
lot what Natty's doing with her dungeon and the training and everybody that comes down there. It's always like, yeah, like what it would make all the
and I
sense
guess
in
that's
the
the
world.
thing. Like I've never seen him go to any of those, so I guess you know, always assume that you know if you're not doing it for family, you probably didn't want to do it for us. So he just didn't have an interest. But again, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't know.
Makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sean, we got to let you get out of here soon, but I was wondering, with WrestleMania around the corner, you said you just go to watch your graduates have their big moments. But you were known as Mr. WrestleMania. I hope that you have like the lanyard that you walk around with at WrestleMania just says that really clearly. But here's my question. There's been a lot of people who have emulated Shawn Michaels in their career, who've accomplished some of the same things since you accomplished them. Do you think we'll ever have another Mr. WrestleMania? I mean, what goes into having a big match streak like you had?
I don't know. I guess a big match streak, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know how that sounds, but I guess it's one of those things where if you've got the credibility, if you've got the results, if you've got the actual work, that stuff usually kind of takes care of itself. I mean, I said the name, but I don't think it would have stuck if I didn't have the record or the credibility to come along with it. I don't know. I mean, but so I don't know, because I feel like, I don't know, that's one of those ones where it gets tough, because I always, it's one of those things I have, and something that we say, I try to tell people, the performance centers, don't duplicate someone else's version of success,
Yeah.
That's something that we do a lot in this line of work, is that I saw what this guy did, and so I'm going to do this, this, and this, and it doesn't work. And so that's something that I feel, and I certainly try to teach, is, I was mentioning to guys the other day, and they were asking me, like, what do you feel like the next, like Attitude Era and all that kind of stuff, and how did you guys know that was coming, and things of that nature? And I said, well, it was a feeling, and we were, culturally, we could see where we were at, and they said, well, do you feel like anything like that's coming on now? And I said, boys, I'm 61, or I'll be 61. It's not going to come from me. It's not going to come from a 61-year-old dude. It's got to come from you guys. And I said, the thing is, this is one of those times where I am the crotchety old timer. I said, the only thing is, when we came back from the ring, we were talking about it. We'd get in the car, and then we were talking about it and trying to figure it all out. I said, you guys come back from the ring and you go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all. And look, well, I'm just saying, the answer might be in there, but it's, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, that's just one of those things that, but I feel like, if you do, it's very simple. You do it enough times, those things will come, if you build it, they will come.
They will come. Well, I got one last question, then we got to wrap you up. You are Mr. WrestleMania. In your opinion, who is Mrs. WrestleMania?
Ooh, it's a heck of a question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. Would Becky or Charlotte be in there somewhere? You got to think, right? I feel like they've probably got the best opportunity. So that would be my guess right now. And I think it'd have to be a toss up right now between Becky and Charlotte.
I'd even throw a Bianca Belair if she's healthy. She'd have a case as well. You know what I mean? I think Becky and Charlotte definitely leaders. Pole
they got that. They had the first main event, so it's like that's it. It's got to be one of those.
Yeah, I just figured, tenure wise and all of that, probably the most opportunities at it. But yeah, Bianca's certainly somebody that a couple more years, and as long as she stays healthy, she's certainly got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sean. Well, thank you so much for doing this. We're all going to tune in to watch your documentary on Peacock on the 13th. I'm sure we're probably all going to watch it as soon as it's available. It's called The Heartbreak Kid, right? The Heartbreak Kid Becoming Shawn Michaels. I cannot wait to watch this. And I'm just so grateful that you're giving time to folks like us to talk to. So thanks so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you to HBK. That was freaking awesome. And now, if he's not your favorite actor as a wrestling fan, you have issues. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show for the first time, Paul Walter Hauser.
And joining us today on the Masked Man Show, we got the best wrestling podcast on the planet. And obviously, if you want to see our beautiful, handsome faces in real life, you gotta go watch and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, youtube.com, Ring of Wrestling, because you get incredible interviews just like this. The wonderful, the talented, but more importantly enough, one of the biggest wrestling fans we know in all the world, Mr. Paul Walter Hauser, joining us on the Masked Man Show. What's going on, champ?
I thought that was David Shoemaker's intro. I did not know that was me. That could easily
Shoes doesn't get
well.
fancy intros, all right? He just kind of lips here. We don't do the fancy
intro. I was looking at Ben Cruz's background before we started the interview, and he's got all these dope shoes, and I was like, that's got to be Shoemaker's background. His name is Shoemaker.
Weirdly, no one's pointed that out before. That's a great call. Ben, we should switch backgrounds, okay?
Apparently not. And then I think Brian Waters who had all the straps.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a strap. He had like all of them hanging on the wall.
They put us completely to shame when it comes to like this background designing, like they're built for this. We're new to the YouTube world, right?
Yo, y'all got to get decked out. You got to get decked out. You need
the craziest thing about the craziest thing about Brian's belts by far is that he's got kids. Usually people have money for to waste on belts before they have children. But Brian's got 2 kids, like healthy children that are somehow have not been hurt by this belt collecting fantasy. So
Paul, what I need you to do, Paul, since we are new to this YouTube and you are big in the Hollywood space, I got like miscellaneous like wrestling stuff like laying in like the foreground of my room. I'm gonna pick it out and you gotta let me know like which makes like the background, all right? Like which is
okay.
This is
all
great.
Right, so right here from John Cena's final Madison Square Garden, we have a John Cena stand-up sort of cardboard thing right here.
What?
I mean that should be on the wall for sure.
Gets the wall treatment. All right. It makes the cut.
How did that come to you? Yeah, that looks great there. Was that
That's great?
Was that like sitting on your seat or something? Where did that? How do you get that thing?
It's like it comes with a little stand. All right, like you kind of fold it here.
No, I get that, but where did you how did you get it?
So when they do like the Raw, hosting like hospitality things at Madison Square Garden, they build like this in-house bodegas, and at the end of the night, you just take everything with you. Like I got this handy dandy WWE Netflix tomato soup that I was gonna drink if Finn Balor lost last week. And I have one more thing to ask, Paul, before we get into this. And I'm only saying this because it was right in front of me. Come on now.
Listen.
Definitely makes the wall.
Listen, I don't have the box of cereal, but I do have the red Christmas-looking T-shirt that they put out that says Booty-O's. And I mean, listen, I don't know how the rest of the world would interpret it. They probably think it's like a racist Coca-Cola ad from the 20s or something. But
it's the smiles. The smiles is just what takes it over the top.
I love those guys, man. I'm still waiting we got to put a button or a tag on the New Day legacy and storyline. Maybe it'll happen at WrestleMania weekend in the years to come, because I have no doubt that the New Day will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But yeah, even if it's something small, man, my guy Big E Langston, he's gotta have a story that finishes, because none of us are satisfied and are all saddened with how it ended.
Paul, couldn't agree more. Big E's one of the best guys there is, and he deserves a proper closing of that chapter if he when he so decides to do so. You know what I mean?
Listen, they did my
Big E.
dude Kofi wrong with that Brock Lesnar match when he had the title,
way.
and Fate. I will not say Ridge Holland because accidents happen, but Fate did my dude wrong, Big E Langston. So we need something there.
We need we need to rectify this. Anyway. Yeah.
So here's a question that I have been dying to ask you ever since I heard that you learned that you were coming on the show. For the people that don't know, Paul is an incredibly talented actor. You've certainly seen him in a number of things. You've probably seen him in twice as many things as you realize, even if you're a fan, because he's sort of a chameleon, and is able to just, listen. He works face and heel, guys. He can do whatever he can do. He can do it all. There's a lot of celebrities that are sort of involved in WrestleMania this year. We're not going to get in deep, but I've always wondered, you see great actors that used to appear on Raw during the guest host era. There's still a lot of people with a lot of acting experience that show up, but like movie and TV acting and wrestling acting is clearly not the same thing. Do you have any insight as to what the difference is?
I mean, off the top of my head, though I haven't really ruminated on that a whole lot, I do think wrestling acting is more like theater. There's a certain presentation where you're expected to almost overact with facial expressions to tell the story because you're not using dialogue in the ring, and also you're playing to the audience. So there's somebody in the nosebleeds who only spent $40 who they need to see it as much as the people in the front row. So there's an aspect of that. But then I think also wrestling is a fun place where you can blur the line between broad and subtle or grounded. And I've seen brilliant performances and promos and moments where people like Jake the Snake Roberts would nearly whisper when he was talking with Mean Gene Okerlund, or you would have MJF and CM Punk famously had a really great promo in AEW where Punk, I'll never forget, MJF talks about him being his hero and how he let him down, and MJF's leaving the ring and Punk goes, "Was that real? Was that real?" Like almost like he's breaking the fourth wall, between shoot and work. And I think they're brilliant, beautiful acting moments within the wrestling world, as well as buffoonery from Mae Young giving birth to a hand to the WrestleMania match between Sami Zayn and my buddy Johnny Knoxville,
so good.
It's the, as Bischoff famously said, it's the buffet of wrestling. We get a little bit of everything.
It's true. But the hand thing is telling to me because like Mae Young birthed that hand better than like Glenn Close would birth that hand. There's something about being in the business that you understand what you're doing, and people will come in from Hollywood and not get the volume right or not get the level of engagement right.
Until we saw Vanessa Kirby in Netflix's original film Pieces of a Woman, we had not seen a birthing type scene as uncomfortable and realistic since Mae Young. Yeah,
it's true. It's so true, man.
Paul, I feel like there's a lot of parallels in Hollywood and wrestling, obviously. And I think WWE has gotten like a lot of very loud criticism heading to this road to WrestleMania. And I feel like in the same way in Hollywood, certain things could get too big to be critically acclaimed. You know what I mean? It feels like certain things might have to, I don't know, like you think of like comic book movies and how it gets so big. Well, like you have your outliers that are critically acclaimed, but so big where it's just like there's too much happening here. It's just not good. It's just not good for anybody. For somebody who deals in like both worlds, like what are your sort of thoughts on WWE's current product and how much of the critical a displeasure, I'd say, from fans is fair or foul?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's very relevant right now, obviously. I would say that in the world of sports, the people that become most prominent outside of the actual sporting event are people like Stephen A. Smith, like the people that talk a lot, the people that are passionate, the people that have a lot to say. And I think, you know, the internet wrestling community, the IWC, and also just word of mouth in the wrestling world is very loud. And in a lot of respects, that's kind of fun. It's fun to talk about wrestling. We're doing it now. But it can also be very toxic, and people get I would say overly opinionated about things. You know, there's a famous story about a guy who on his son's 18th birthday or graduation, he hands him a Bible, and the kid is like, I thought I was going to get a car. Like, what are you doing handing me this Bible? And he throws it and yells at his dad. And then years later, he goes back to his home and looks through his old things and boxes in the attic and finds the Bible. And there were the keys to a Corvette inside the Bible or something. So it's like we kind of, you know, as far-fetched and maybe outlandish as that sounds, the idea remains true. And the truth is, sometimes we judge things too early. When I heard Heath Ledger was playing the Joker, I thought it was a horrible casting decision. Because I wanted Sam Rockwell. I wanted fill in the blank actor. And then you watch Heath, and it's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen ever, not just in a comic book movie. So we got to be careful not to throw away the Bible, both for its wisdom, but potentially a pair of Corvette keys lying somewhere in the pages. You can't knock it till you've tried it. And I think I'm giving WWE the benefit of the doubt and waiting to see what happens. Having said that, I think there's a massive injustice that Io Sky and Carmelo Hayes are not on the card. I think that's insane. I think the fact that they announced Finn Balor is coming back as the Demon is insane. Why would you not let that be a fun surprise for all of us? And you know, I'm pro celebrity involvement in wrestling, obviously.
Yeah.
But
right.
Having said that, Randy and Cody were off to a real hot start, and then it got very, very confusing. It's almost like you were eating this amazing. I think we're all a little confused by the celebrity involvement for Randy and Cody because there's so much history there of their second or third generational stars. They tagged together, they came up together. There's so much history. You don't really need to add anything. It's like somebody trying to throw tomatoes in a fettuccine Alfredo. It's like, we're good. We got the noodles and the sauce and the parm. We don't maybe add chicken, but we don't need anything else. So I very much empathize with the folks that are upset. I totally get it. And as far as ticket prices go, listen, Hollywood's been changing just like wrestling. TKO takes over. A lot of it becomes about how do we make money. Maybe you throw a Slim Jim sticker on a table. Maybe you bring in Pat McAfee or Jelly Roll. I get it. It can be frustrating, but that's how Hollywood works, bro. There's a lot of things that I would crush and kill, but they're not going to cast me because they're trying to make the most money possible, and they think so-and-so puts butts in seats. So I get it, unfortunately.
Well, you talked about enjoying celebrity involvement. We're all heading out to WrestleMania to Las Vegas in a couple of days, and you will be too, because you will be there prepared to wrestle. You're going to be part of the MLP Multiverse show going one-on-one with QT Marshall on the 17th. Can you want to talk a little bit about this? Do you want to tell us how you got into this mess?
Yeah, let's plug it. I got a match at 11 a.m. at the Horseshoe for Progress Wrestling, the outfit based out of UK. I'll be wrestling Big Damo for the Proteus title.
I didn't know about that. That's awesome.
That will be a serious match. I've put $100,000 on the line for anybody who can beat me. Didn't know it would be Big Damo who stepped up because he's not wrestling with Progress all the time. He's kind of popping in and out. But I feel good about that match. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I intend to surprise Big Damo, who's probably underestimating me. And then the next day on Friday the 17th, I got a match at Bizarre Bar for Action Wrestling. That will be against one called Manders, who is potentially the greatest independent wrestling star right now.
Love Manders, yeah.
That I'm not super excited for because that lariat does not look very appeasing. I hope to steer clear or duck that. And then that night, I'll be at the Multiverse at the Palms Casino for I guess they're now called Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling,
Yeah.
ML or MP.
MLP.
MLPW, right?
MLPW, there you go. Not
Yeah.
to be confused with Court Bauer and his MLW outfit, which I work for as well. I'll be fighting in what we're calling the sequel to the match I had in ROH with QT Marshall back in August of last year, which I was just hungry for a rematch, man. I called him out, and I lost that match at the 2300 Arena in ROH back in August. But I think I surprised a lot of people and raised some eyebrows with the pain and punishment I can take and what I'm willing to do to try to win.
What?
Yeah, man.
How are you doing 3 matches in 2 days? That's crazy. Like this is what? Why did you decide not just that you wanted to wrestle? I mean, obviously you've been wrestling for a while, but like, how did you decide that you were going to have a match at WrestleMania weekend and then you might as well have 3?
It's seizing the moment and trying to be advantageous. We got a lot of eyeballs, a lot of money on the table there, and you know, people come to Vegas with the expectancy that they're going to see something great. So I'm also pushing and proving myself to try to give the best show possible for all 3 matches. It could be worse. My buddy Mike Bailey, who you now know as Speedball in AEW, Mike Bailey. There are times where a Vegas type situation would roll around, and he would be contracted for somewhere between 5 and 10 matches. So it could be worse.
I remember the Mike Bailey wrestle. I mean, was it year before last or was it last year? But he had so many. There were a couple of WrestleManias in a row where he had like double digits, and it's just
exhausting. I don't know how he did it.
No, but you got. I mean, listen, you're the Speedball Mike Bailey of, you know, celebrities turn wrestlers for sure. I mean, nobody in your category is working 1, let alone 3. So this is incredible.
Yeah, I'm putting myself on the line there, and it's right before I go to shoot. I got a movie and TV show that both shoot in Atlanta this summer. So I got a lot of responsibility as a father, a husband, an actor, a producer, but I love professional wrestling. And as I say to everyone, in wrestling, we take calculated risks. That's what.
Paul, I know we gotta get you out of here real soon, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the progress of this Mick Foley biopic that I know you've been trying to get off the ground and get done. Where are we with that? Have you spoken to Mick about any progress on that?
Yeah, I've been
how you
approached.
feeling?
I've been approached about multiple wrestling projects. Some I can't talk about. I blew the lid off the Mick Foley thing because I just couldn't help myself. And I was interviewed post-match, so I was a little hazy. And I dropped that. I'm attached to play him in a limited series. We're trying to find a co-writer who's going to partner with me to write the bulk of the show. I'm going to co-write 1 or 2 episodes. I'm producing and starring as Mick. And we have the producers behind Mayor of Easttown, the hit show at HBO Max with Kate Winslet and Evan Peters. So the auspices are there. The story we want to tell is very much a Mick story. This is not the Mankind story. We don't need to tell the Hell in a Cell story for the umpteenth time. Mick does that enough himself. We're trying to tell a human story about a man who was at a crossroads in his life between WCW and WWF. And he had to make some decisions. And one of those was working with a friend and mentor in Terry Funk in Japan. So we hope to tell that alternative type wrestling story and speak to the human spirit that says you need to take this moment to show them not what they want to see, but what you want to do. And Mick became bigger and bigger the more he followed his heart and his creative itch. So I'll hopefully be shooting that next year in 27, but we got to get some of the pieces together. But yeah, man, I listen, I just have to say, I don't know how much time we have left, but I have to say, I am a fan of professional wrestling. I adore it. I love it. I watch all of it. I am wrestling agnostic. I do not get tribalistic with one company or another. But I think it's a great time for wrestling fans to band together and be grateful for all the companies doing it and the people that are employed. The Tony Khans, the Carlos Silvas, the Court Bowers, all these people comprise a world where you can get paid to wrestle and make a living. And that is vitally important right now. I'm not trying to take food off people's plate. I'm just trying to cast an eyeball on wrestling. And I only wrestle 10 to 15 matches a year. So I'm doing more than the Bad Bunnies and Jelly Rolls, but I'm also not stealing the space by any means, I don't feel.
Yeah, that's important too. But I think everybody can tell, right? I mean, I always say that the number one ingredient to being a star wrestler in the modern era is fans knowing that you love wrestling too. And I think that works for celebrities. I mean, for celebrity crossovers as well. If we can feel the love, then no one's going to have a question.
And it'd be one thing if I was just chasing a paycheck, but you got to believe me when I say I did a show for GCW to raise money for an autism-based nonprofit, and I didn't take a paycheck, and I didn't ask them to put me up anywhere fancy. I got offered a show by Memphis Wrestling this fall to wrestle at a fairground or a carnival. It's like, you're doing it for the love of the game. If you happen to make money, awesome. But this is something I love, and I'm doing it because I love it.
Memphis Fairground Wrestling is on my bucket list, so I wouldn't have charged for that either. Listen, I thought when you said people think I'm doing it for the paycheck, I thought you were gonna just whip out a giant stack of cash and just go full heel. It's like, I don't need their money. Anyway, we have to let you go.
I don't have much cash. I spend it mostly on action figures on ringsidecollectibles.com. Will we see Jay White and LA Knight in the future? I don't know. I don't know if WWE knows what they're doing with LA Knight. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Or what AEW is doing with Jay White. You never know. You never know.
Get him back healthy. He'll be fine.
In the words of my good friend Steve Borden, you know him as Sting, the only thing that's for sure is nothing's for sure.
Yep.
Boom.
Oh, Paul,
I
thank
gotta
you
plug
so
my
much.
movie and say thank you for having me, and go watch me and Sacha Baron Cohen and Mark Wahlberg in Balls Up. It's a crazy comedy. It drops on April the 15th on Amazon Prime.
Dude, I cannot wait
Perfect.
to
Tax
watch.
day. I'm with it. Yes.
And look, I saw when I was doing the research that you just got cast in the Scooby-Doo limited series. So I don't know how you've just like totally camped out on my childhood, but you're doing a great job of it. Yeah, I don't know if there's still time to get in the He-Man movie that's coming out, but you just
so funny. You got to honor your inner child. You got to honor your 15-year-old self when you get famous enough to choose projects. And I do that all the time. As I said to Todd Phillips back in 2020 when I met him, I said, you're doing the Joker movie. You did the Joker movie. Now you're doing a Hulk Hogan biopic. I said, you're making all my childhood dreams come true. And Todd looked at me dead serious and he goes, let's hope they're not nightmares. And then walked away.
Oh my God. What a great turn. What a great note to end this on. Paul Walter Hauser, thank you so much for doing this, man.
You're the man, Paul.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
Good luck.
Sir.
Good luck in all your matches and in all your movies too. All right, that's it. Long show. Thank you all for listening. Of course, thanks to Paul Walter Hauser. Thanks to Shawn Michaels. Thanks to Kaz. You want to get some plugs in?
Yeah, man. You can catch me on Mornings and Marrow every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Hot 97 and YouTube.com/Hot 97 from 8 to 9 a.m. during the magic hour. Brand new episode of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is live with special guest, New York Knicks point guard, Grand Theft Alvarado himself, Jose Alvarado, is with us. And of course, the wonderful Monica Nutt is on there as well. And yeah, that's all I got. See you guys in Vegas.
Thanks, man. Thanks to our producer, Brian H. Waters. Thanks to our EP, Ben Cruz. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you all for listening. The demon Finn Balor has got to be okay. Go your mama. We'll see you back here tomorrow, potentially. Watch this space. This is going to be a crazy week. We'll see you back here soon, humanoids.
Hey.